But first, you have to walk. Anyway, so what I did again was I focused on a part of the body and the gross motor skills. Then later on, I identified which part of the body I wanted for finesse fine motor skills. Hello, welcome to episode 27, or Can You Still Show Improvement 20 plus years after a stroke? I'm using the guitar as an example to show you it's possible to have improvement. I use the guitar as a foil, meaning it entertains me and it's educational. Hopefully it entertains you, as bad as my playing is now. But you might like knitting, for instance, or something more important to employment, for instance, like regain keyboarding as a skill. The lessons that I give here is still relevant. My purpose is not to showcase my guitar playing, which is probably 1/10 or worse than it used to be, but to give you concrete evidence of improvement 20 years after the stroke. In other words, it's not over. I can't believe I'm still reading people being advised that after a year, if you haven't, you're going to improve as much as you're ever going to. Every stroke is individual, and I don't want to say anything too positive or too negative. But in my case, coming back from a total hemiplegic, 1/3 of my brain destroyed type of stroke, I've recovered a little bit, and I wanted to reassure you it's possible with effort, to come back. Not like before, but almost. Or maybe I don't know. That you decide for yourself. Anyway, if this blog or vlog, video blog, achieves anything, I hope it achieves that. With constant effort, it's possible to make small improvements or big improvements. But I'm a positive person in general, and you have to believe. So this is the basic timeline. I started the guitar in the late 60s and played seriously until the early 80s, when marriage and a job that had a lot of travel put the guitar on the back burner. Back then, with a couple of weeks of playing, I was able to come back to my old skills quickly. Then in the early 2000s and the stroke, I didn't touch the guitar until 2018, nearly 20 years, well, at that time, 15 years after my stroke. I had lost my right side, as I said. And in fact, trying to play at the beginning, I was not even able to pick up a guitar, let alone play it. And I was happy to think, to be dumb and stupid and think, I can come back easily. Just give me my 3 weeks. I'll I'll pick it up quickly. Trying to play would be too painful an experience emotionally. I was happy living with the thinking, I can pick it up again easily. Just get my arm in better shape. In 2018, as I said, I had an idea and people prodded me, and I tell the story in episode 6, to start to play again. I couldn't even, at that point, 15 years later, clutch a chord. I couldn't do that. I couldn't play an arpeggio, and I still can't really well. And one thing I noticed that with the spasticity, having the same style of repeated movements, for instance, even the strum constantly, my rhythm is off. And the repeated movements of a arpeggio, string by string by string by, I often can't do it. You used to do it with facility. To play classical guitar, you have to do everything like that. So having lost that ability, and I still haven't gotten it back fully, causes problems in playing. But that didn't stop me. In other words, I have trouble with repetitive movements, however simple they are. So, first I regained, in general, gross motor skills, no matter what I was dealing with. When I first had the stroke in the hospital, I worked. I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. I had to work, but they gave me exercises to do to help my face recover some of its old shape and things, and smile and all that. So I worked on that. And the basic system I used was, I identified a problem area that I wanted to get, ordered them in line to get first done. Say, like when I came out of the hospital, it was walking was my priority, not my right arm, walking. So I worked on that first. Then I refined it to balance board and all those things that develop balance. But first, you have to walk. Anyway, so what I did again was I focused on a part of the body and the gross motor skills. Then later on, I identified which part of the body I wanted for finesse, fine motor skills. So without boring you or repeating the things I said in episode 6, how I relearned the guitar after a stroke, when I started, I couldn't do, as I said, a basic strum. In 2 years, this would be the progress I've made. I'm giving you something, a video, episode 6, a selection from episode 6, where I played my signature piece, Adelita, which I start every episode with. And this is the piece, Adelita, played today. So let me show you in 2022, November of 2022, Adelita, and then how he played it today. Thank you. And I think you'll see there's been some progress, and I'll leave you with that. So thank you again for your attention. like and subscribe to this video. It helps me spread the good word of recovery from stroke. Until next time, goodbye. This is today's recording, and one of the advances is I have my fingers slightly more, not entirely, slightly more in a classical guitar position rather than a splayed hand position, or as I call it, playing with splayed hand.